If you're at Epcot and need a nice break from the sun with the kids, do not forget Living with the Land. It's a very relaxing boat ride and it goes through greenhouses and has cool behind the scenes of how Disney actually grows its own food right there in the park. And some of this actually ends up on your plate too. It's perfect for tired feet, curious young minds, and low key moms who love a good learning opportunity. Our personal favorite activity is to hunt for the hidden Mickeys there. They changed up for the holidays, so be sure to check it out during every season. So go ahead and get that lightning lane for all the big rides and roller coasters, but don't overlook this hidden gem. From one busy mom to another, trust me, this one's worth the float. Let's see what our top Smart Moms travel planners think about this ride. Welcome to the Smart Moms Plan Travel channel, where smart tips make travel simple for busy moms. Hi, I'm Stacy with the Smart Moms Plan Travel channel, and we are here with Megan.
Hi.
And we are here with Jessica.
Hello.
And we are going to talk about the best ride ever, Living with the Land. According to Megan, she is a big fan. And
Big fan. Yes.
I am also a big fan. I'm not going to say it's the best ride ever, but I will say that I am a big fan. So we are going to cover all aspects of this ride. And to start, we'll think back, way back when we first started going to Epcot and we saw Living with the Land was an option. What were your expectations going into this? Did you have any? Did you know what it was about? Or your kids, when they first wrote it, what did they think or what were they expecting?
Well, when I first went on Living with the Land, I was just a teen myself. So, of course, I had low expectations. And I'll admit, it has grown on me over the years. When you go into a ride that says it's based on, farming, and you start out the ride with that slow, low narrator speech through the whole thing, and then you get to gardens, you it's not the most entertaining ride for a 17-year-old, but as a big fan, I've grown as a big fan later on. Going into it, I thought it was going to be just a boring educational ride.
Kind of what Epcot you would expect out of an Epcot ride, especially back when Living with the Land came out. And how about you, Jessica?
So actually, for some reason, I was a little kid, but I was like 8, but I thought it was going to be about dinosaurs for some reason. And I was like going on to it, and then I was like, oh, we're going on a boat? And I was like, all right, I guess. And I didn't know what to like approach with it, but I was like, oh, I was presently like surprised and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I totally thought it was about dinosaurs at first.
Isn't there a dinosaur movie? I don't know if it's Disney or not, but I feel like there's
Yeah,
something like Land.
Land, be Land Before Time.
yeah.
There you go. That's
And then Land Before Time, there's like 5 sequels.
yeah. That's probably why you thought. So that's funny. And then I don't know that I remember first going on it, but I do remember like being thoroughly impressed. When you first start out, you're kind of like, okay, this is cheesy. Like, what are we doing here? And then and then getting to the middle of the ride, I was like, wow, okay, yeah, I was not expecting this. And we are going to get into what I feel like it's kind of like a little surprise, little hidden surprise. So, a quick explanation of the ride. So, you'll see behind us the ride and notice that it starts out kind of in this main pavilion area. You get in the boat, you go in, there will be some kind of cheesy old animatronics, a guy talking to you. You're like, okay, what are we learning about today? And then you get into the greenhouse part where you see actual plants being grown and how Disney is growing these plants that you actually will be eating in some of your meals at the park, which is super interesting. And then there's a few other little surprises that we'll get into. So it's a very slow boat ride that everybody can enjoy. And like Megan, I think it's a great ride, and I think that everybody should experience it. And it surprised me that even my kids enjoyed it.
Yeah, my daughter really loves that ride. She's at the perfect age. She's 2 going on 3. So she hasn't reached the point where learning is something she does every day at school. She's not a moody teenager. She's the perfect age for it. So like the little surprises you mentioned, lots of hidden Mickeys that you don't see anywhere else in the park, sort of thing. Those are her favorite thing to look for. She finds hidden Mickeys during the flowering garden. They had a whole overlay related to Encanto and Rapunzel and the other princesses. And that was just so exciting for her. And the fact that they were with plants, she, she's at the age where just being able to say the vocabulary is fun for her. Identify that's a pumpkin, mummy. That's a tomato, mummy. That she's at the age where even that's exciting. So she loves it.
It's exciting for me. Like there were some plants that I was genuinely surprised, like, oh, those grow in the ground? Oh, those grow on a tree. I'm like, how did I not know this? I kind of feel silly going through. I don't express it to other people that I don't know those things, but in my head, I'm like, oh wow, I had no idea that that is actually how that is grown.
Yeah, definitely. The plants were really interesting to me. The animals on there that you do get to see also blew my mind. And also just the tomatoes with the how they were in the water. I was just blown away by it.
Yeah. I like it's just very calm and relaxing too. It's a nice long ride. It's you probably could take a nap on it if you were tired. It's just there's like the rainforest at the beginning and that guy's talking. It's very nice. Very nice and relaxing. So let's talk about the first scene that you go in though, where we were talking, they have the all different kinds of climates, and then they have some different animatronics and things. Jessica, what do you think about the first few scenes that you go through?
I really liked them. I think they're interesting. I think they hold my attention. I mean, sometimes animatronics can be like broken, but hey, I like that. I like that aspect of Disney, and that's something that you don't get everywhere else is the animatronics that come alive and they talk to you, and that guy's voice can talk to me all day because it kind of was just really soothing.
Yeah, the one thing though that drives me nuts in those scenes is that barking dog.
Hmm.
He does not stop barking. As a dog lover, but also a dog groomer, I appreciate a quiet environment, and I'm like, okay, they have that dog barking a little too much.
No, I like them now, although I will say that just a little bit further on, every time I would go through those scenes, my first thought is, man, this is where you would go take a nap if you needed a break and you were a cast member. Because this is very peaceful, very dark, very calm. I definitely think that's if you're taking a nap on that ride, that's where you're going to do it. Um, it never changes. I think is the hardest part for me is that part of the ride, is never going to change unless they overhaul it. So, unlike other parts of the ride that are different every time, different seasonally, different based on food, it could be different, 3 weeks in a row. Uh, Unlike that, those first sections with the animatronics and everything are classic dark ride Disney, but they don't change.
Yeah, that is true. Do you feel like it's outdated at all, or does it kind of hold its own? I think, I mean, it's definitely older, not like, new updated animatronics or anything, but I I love that. Like, I love that they are keeping some of these older rides and the nostalgia. I don't necessarily need everything to be like brand new and, blow my mind. Like, I love seeing something that's been there for years and hasn't changed. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, with with anything that's, I feel like the technology isn't dated. Not the ride technology. The ride technology is dated, but you're not there for the ride technology on that ride. You're there to enjoy the scenes, the boat ride, the information, the unique stuff Disney's doing. As far as the technology that they talk about in the ride, though, hydroponics and farming of various things, those are all very current. It's not like other rides where they talk about the technology of tomorrow, and you look around and you're like, this is the technology of 10 years ago. Uh, this is still the technology of today that they're talking about on the ride. So we can forgive a creaky old animatronic dog.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it holds itself. It holds its own. And it's different, I think, from a lot of rides you actually can find even at Epcot. It's something different. And if you're like really hot on days that most days get really hot, it's a good way to cool off and take your feet and like just chill.
And we didn't mention in that section too that you can look up and see people. Is it Garden Grill
Yep,
that
garden
overlook?
grill.
Yeah, so there's open windows up there where they can look down on you and you can look up at them, and just kind of wave. And so that's kind of a fun little.
Also, one of the most underrated character dining. And it ties into this ride, not just from the view, you guys know, but for everybody who may not know, most of the food served at Garden Grill, if it could be grown on Disney property, is grown on the in an area around this ride.
It was my favorite dining.
Oh, wow. That's cool. I've never done it. I've gone by and, for people who are watching that don't know, the actual seating where you eat, the whole thing rotates like the entire
Mhm.
restaurant. So the people that are sitting and eating will eventually be able to see the ride because they'll be going around and around. So once you get through that section of the ride, you go where you can see the real plants. There's aquaculture tanks. You'll see innovative growing techniques. So in that area, what is your favorite part, or was there a surprise that you saw there that you didn't, that you weren't expecting?
The crazy catfish.
Crazy catfish? Why was it crazy?
It was just really big and like I don't know, it had really big like it was like really really like long, but like I don't know. I don't think I just relatively knew what a catfish was. I was thinking like, cat and fish, not like alien that it actually looks like.
Something out of Lilo and Stitch.
Yes.
I I'll say I did cheat a little because I have done the behind the scenes tour, which we should mention. But I really am partial to the Mickey shaped pumpkins. I'm partial to any sort of unique growing, like where they can grow things that normally grow in the ground, but they grow them hanging, from planters, or they grow them going up instead so that they're not taking up as much, area on the ground. They figured out ways to grow them vertically. So all of those are unique, but I'm definitely partial to they have special molds that they can put pumpkins in so that your pumpkins grow in the shape of a Mickey head. So those were very fun to hold and see and actually get to hold the Mickey pumpkins and hold the mold that's doing the Mickey pumpkin.
I have never heard of that. Do they put them on display, or is this something only seen on behind the scenes? Or can you buy the molds?
You can't buy the molds as far as I know, but you do get to see them, especially around Halloween when they would put out their pumpkin displays.
That's really cool. Yeah, I've been on it so many times, I've never seen that. That's so cool. Um, So, as far as, I mean, the whole ride kind of surprised me, to be honest with you. I definitely was not expecting that when I went on. And I feel like every time I go on it, even though I know what to expect, I'm always just in awe and I always see something new and fun and interesting. And I love that they are now decorating it for the different festivals and Christmas time. You have to go in the evening and see it all lit up. They have different, like you said, different hidden Mickeys. Those can always be, related to the holidays and different things. The last time I was on it, they had, like you said, all different scenes that had foods that matched different Disney characters or movies. So they're always changing it up, which I feel like is new. I feel like when I went years ago, they didn't used to dress it up, you know? So I love every time that I get on it, it's probably going to be a different experience or something new that I haven't seen before. But we always love seeing the little shrimp and and going through that little tunnel area. I feel like sometimes they have different kinds of fish in there that you haven't seen before. So, so do you think that kids would find this boring? I mean, if I feel like if I showed them a video of it at home, they'd be like, yeah, not interested in that. But my kids have been on it at every age. I can pretty much say that. They started going when they were 2 and now they are teenagers. And they will never say no to living with the land. Now, I understand like it's a good relaxing ride, but I do think that they find it very interesting. Jessica, how old are your kids, or do they find it interesting?
So 2 and 8. So yes, they both thought it was very interesting. There was like, I mean, it's scenery in general down there is really cool, but it was just the guy's voice is relaxing also, but I don't know, it's educational and to learn. I like that fact that Epcot really brings in that learning aspect. It's not just thrill rides. There's that aspect of learning and teaching, and that, hey, this like sparks innovation in your mind of, hey, we could try something different to even grow like the world hunger problems out there.
Yeah. And Megan, I know you touched on it a little bit. I know your daughter really enjoyed it, but do you feel like this is a ride that everyone can truly enjoy, or would there be a certain age
Well,
group that,
even when I was a teenager, and my whole goal was to be moody. I mean, I had turned that into an entire personality trait because I was 17 and that's what you did. Um, and I thought it was going to be boring and whatever, but it was actually really fun. Even when I was 17 and I went in with a full head of preconceived notions, I was like, oh, this is actually fun. This is actually cool. This is cute to see. It's relaxing. Like, it's not going to be the most thrilling ride. And I don't know how you two feel about rides, but, you know, I'm overall a thrill ride person. Like, there has not been a ride that I will not get on, but I still enjoyed it. Even at 17, I really enjoyed it. So I think if you can convert a 17-year-old who's wearing a t-shirt that says "Don't speak to me" and it's all black and has headphones on, then you could probably convert anybody to liking that ride.
that is true. And I have zero interest in, plants and fish and agriculture, but that truly interests me when I go on it, to the point where I actually am like, I have looked into the behind the scenes tour because like I want to know more. And so can you talk about your experience with that tour, because I know I'm interested.
Well, as an example of being on the same page as you, um, this is sitting on my desk. This is what I do to plants. I am not the green thumb person. Um, and I loved the behind the scenes tour. It was, I want to say, around 30 minutes. And it It may have been longer, I can't remember, but it's around 30 minutes. You walk through pretty much the greenhouses. You don't walk through much of the rest of the ride, which makes sense because, again, those are animatronics and they don't really change. But you get to see the fisheries. You get to see where they're doing the innovative growth stuff, the kind of changes that they're making so that they can grow more food or grow food with less pesticides or any of that stuff that they can't put into the overlay yet, that they can't have the narrator reading. So you find out a lot of stuff. It's very cool. It makes you leave and you're feeling like, for one, I'm going to go eat something at Sunshine Seasons if I don't have a reservation at Garden Grill, because I'm going to go eat some of that food I just saw growing. And, you know, you feel all gung ho about the environment and everything. You're like, this is really cool. I love everything Disney does for this. Um, it has been close to a decade, so I don't remember the details of the tour, but I really enjoyed it. And it was like a 30-minute tour where they took you through the entire greenhouse and fishery section. So it was very fun.
Yeah, that's cool. It's definitely on my bucket list. And it's very affordable too, as far as tours go at Disney.
Yes, as far as tours don't go at Disney, it's definitely one of the more affordable ones,
You need
to
to
be
get some
clear.
big
Oh,
plant.
Yeah, I need succulents or fully fake plants. These are the plants I can keep alive, ones that are painted on. My sister, on the other hand, is very much a green thumb person. She grows all the stuff.
I'm good with the outdoor plants, but not so much with the indoor. So I don't know. Okay, so Jessica, when do you think is the best time to ride this? Do you think it should be rope drop during the heat of the day and the evening? Is it worth using a multi-pass for if people are utilizing that service? What are your thoughts?
Funny you say that because last time I was there, the line there was actually longer than Soarin', which is like
Oh,
right
wow.
next to it. So it was longer than there than Soarin', but I think it's perfect to go in the middle of the day when it's very hot and you need a break to cool off and not feel that Florida heat.
Agreed. And I wouldn't book this as one of my top choices for multi-pass because it typically doesn't have a long line. But if you have, gone through all your rides and there's one available, for sure grab it. I mean, it can save you some time. And I totally agree, go during the middle of the day, but it is also a very cool experience at night and completely different. So if you're looking to experience it again, or just have a different view, especially like I said at the holidays with the lights, I would definitely do it again at night.
Yeah, I tell everybody, well, for one, with Epcot still having tiers, I actually find that I do put Living with the Land as one of my tier two selections usually right away because I am used to going to that ride, and it is probably the most popular tier two ride, I think. It's always got one of the higher weights lately. I think since around 23. I've seen that it can be 30 to 45 minutes on a regular basis. You can usually find a slot where it's 10 to 20 minutes like it always used to be, but as far as the rides that if you've got tiers anyways, I pick Living with the Land because it's going to have a longer wait than a bunch of the other tier two rides. And you gotta pick three selections initially anyways. So you got your tier one, you've got your Frozen or your Remy, and then or your Soarin', I suppose. And then you pick, your Living with the Land selection in tier two. But I also always tell people I'm Florida local. Do not do Living with the Land early. Wait and watch the weather because while Epcot does not have a lot of outdoor rides, once Test Track is running, that will have an outdoor portion, and Test Track will shut down during bad weather. This is a rule for every ride at Disney. If it's a fully indoor ride, it will stay open during bad weather. So you don't want to be planning your outdoor rides like Test Track for later in the day when you might get rained out. You don't want to plan Test Track at like 3 p.m. because no matter what, if you have that landing lane, it might not be running when you go if there's a thunderstorm. So always plan it for heat of the afternoon. You know, it'll be a good indoor ride.
That's a good point, honestly. And it's just a hop, skip, and a jump over there from Test Track if you do get in that position. So and that's a good little pavilion to be in because there's food, there's multiple rides, there's a movie over there, there's things to do. So definitely check out the rest of that area while you're over there. So okay, to wrap up, do you think that this is an underrated gem or just a skippable filler for your day if you're looking for something to do?
I prioritize living with the land every time I go. I mean, I'm not gonna maybe do living with the land instead of Frozen if those are my options, but I'm doing living with the land every time I go. And like I said, if I'm buying landing lanes, I've already got those tier two selections. That's the first one I choose for my tier two selection. I've got my tier one, whatever that is, and that's my very first tier two selection.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have gone on it every time I've been to Epcot, but I also utilize it to relieve myself from the heat.
Yeah, I actually surprised myself at how much I actually choose to do this ride. Because you would think, I've ridden it, I've seen it, I don't need to see it again. My kids are older, probably not so much into the learning aspect of things anymore, but we never miss it, to be honest. And my daughter, she absolutely hates Spaceship Earth. I don't know why, but she would 100% choose living with the land over Spaceship Earth every day.
Me too, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as like a ride that is going to teach you something or has some kind of learning aspect, it's always living with the land over Spaceship Earth. So,
Well, Spaceship Earth has that thing I was talking about where the information feels dated. Spaceship Earth, I know they try and put that little bit at the end about your future you build or whatever, but most of the information that you're looking at feels like it's at least 15, 20 years old. When you're talking about computers, technology's it just goes too fast. They try and talk about technology of the future, and it's technology we had 10 years ago because it hasn't been updated, recently enough. So the information feels dated. I could see why you wouldn't want to go on that. Whereas the information on Living with the Land is still very current, even if the animatronics are a little dated.
she's so angry about going on Spaceship Earth that you know how they take your picture when you're first going up and then they put it into this little video on the ride at the end? I have the most miserable pictures because I've taken my phone out and like taken a screenshot because she is so grumpy. It's hilarious. Like she is so angry about that ride.
That's like part of why it's so dating, because even that technology, like if I'm sitting there and I've got a baseball hat, it'll like cut your face off and stuff, because it doesn't recognize the hat, or you turn your head and it didn't recognize your hair, so now you're bald in your one eye. And it's like, we know technology can do better than this now. We know technology can do leaps and bounds better than this right now. So it doesn't make you feel like a ride of tomorrow anymore.
That's your better.
It's deserving of its upgrade that will hopefully be coming in the next few years.
Yeah. I feel like if you're going for a nap, like that's your best bet over living with the land.
Mm-hmm.
A true dark ride with soft, spoken stuff coming in your ear behind you, and then it leans you back at one point. Forget it. All right, thank you everybody for joining us. Let us know in the comments, is living with the land a must-do for you, or is it a skip, or are you planning on trying it for your next trip? Where does it rank? in your Epcot day. And remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for all your Disney and travel content. We are here to help you, and we are travel planners, and we would love to help you plan your next vacation. It's totally free to you. Please reach out. Links are in the comments. Thanks.
Bye.